We have put a lot of fixes and improvements into EdgeLake. Ori has been working very much on building this, checking it. I think he did multiple builds just to make sure they were perfect. I asked him and he kindly accepted to take us through, what we have in EdgeLake in this new 2.2 version. He will explain you why we call it 2.2. It's also linked to our AnyLog builds. So we're trying to be in sync.
Hi everyone. I'm Ori. I'm the product manager at ANYLOG, and today we'll be covering the transition from EdgeLake 1.4, I guess, to version 2. And basically, it's the idea of maturing from an open source project to an infrastructure product for autonomous world with zero touch and a big focus towards an edge AI related deployment. So, as always, this is the Linux Foundation antitrust policy. Since this is an open source project, so the transition from 1.4 to through 1.4 to through the start of this year to today is version 2. When we first presented, when we last presented, I should say, we were at 2510, so 2025 October 2025, and basically we had edge deployment or containerized. We had some very limited southbound connectors, and we were able to share data, get insight from different nodes, but it was more of a very initial state of where we are now. Over the past 6 or so months, we moved a lot through. We implemented an MCP connection. Sorry, we implemented an MCP connection. We enhanced the southbound services, whether it's gRPC, and now, by the way, gRPC is both northbound, meaning we can send information through gRPC, and southbound, where we can receive information through gRPC. We support a unified namespace. We have more southbound products connectors such as Modbus and enhanced REST capabilities. Um, and so basically I went to walk through a bit of all of that and explain where we are and where we see the product in the next coming cycles. So, as I often like to do, I'll do a quick comparison of AnyLog versus EdgeLake. AnyLog is the commercial version, whereas EdgeLake is the open source. EdgeLake has all of the core components, so connectivity, ingestion, querying, blockchain identity, pretty much everything and anything that's critical to the infrastructure of your network, I should say. Whereas AnyLog is an enhanced version of EdgeLake that contains high availability, security, more comprehensive southbound connectivity, so automated unified namespace, and enhanced MCP, whereas EdgeLake has a very limited MCP connectivity. And finally, we have an open source product called Edge Data Management, and it allows you to manage the entire network from a single point. So quick by the numbers of what has changed. We have about 25 new features. As I mentioned, we have Modbus, we have support for unified namespace. We improved the cluster diagnostics, node diagnostics, of enhanced support for performance, so on and so forth. And with that came a bunch of fixes. This is a rough number. It's about 25 major bug fixes relating to performance, network issues, moving toward an automated deployment process. And so that's the direction we're going for, is a zero-touch deployment where you just say, I want to add an operator and it will do it for you autonomously. No need to define a company or node name or anything like that. So what does this all mean in practice? So in practice, it means that at the end of the day, you would, like you have now, you have your operator nodes, and you can have 2, you can have 10, you can have however operator nodes you want. They receive data, so this data is either from these devices and sensors or the health of the machine, so we actually support. Another feature we added was the health of the nodes and the basically all that gets stored on the operator node, and then the query is able to gather insights from multiple sources at once. And so a zero touch would basically mean is let's say I want a specific type of deployment and it does it. And then there would also be, you can also still configure it manually with the node name, node type, predefined connectivity information, whatever else you may be interested in. A bit about the monitoring, and this is actually something I'm very proud of. So I'm excited about beyond just sensor data. One thing that we found was very critical is the health of the machines. So customers or users ultimately care about the sensor data, but it is the machine itself that also we need to be aware of and maintain its state. And so we provide now the ability to gather syslog information, Docker node information, and the physical node, whether it's CPU, memory usage, network, I/O, so on. Store it all of it into the EdgeLake operator, and then through the EDM and query node, actually query it. And why it is important? Because when you deploy on a lot of operators or through an orchestration tool like Open Horizon or the data, you need to be aware of their state and what's going on with the nodes, not just the data itself. And so we provide that capability, making it easier to query rather than needing to parse text files and log files in order to understand the state of the machine. If we look at EdgeLake or AnyLog from a modular point of view, you would have your southbound connectors, which are cameras, sensors, gateways, and they send their data into AnyLog or an edge node, as they call it here, and then the inside would be northbound. Now, the reason this is important is because instead of needing to send the data to the cloud, we provide the cloud service. Sorry, we bring the AI or cloud-based services to the data. And so this whole idea of AI infrastructure and all of that remove the need for centralization and the need for the edge data and allows for edge data insight rather than cloud-based insight. So finally, what's next? So we want to increase our potential plugin tools. We want to, we're working with a bunch of orchestration tools. We'll work with more of those. And then, and, and yeah, that's it.